Hey, what's going on? Daniel from These Seven Seas. Man, today I'm a little bit under the weather, but nevertheless, I'm still super excited to show you the latest knife to come into my collection. If you know, you know. This is the Brown knives. Now, I love how Craig Brown, does something like this. I think in every knife that actually I've handled, usually comes in a hard case like this. But let's open her up. And what we got is the Cortex XL. Man, I've been wanting to try this knife for ever since I saw it released. Now, if you open the foam, that's where you'll get the certificate of authenticity with the information on the knife. Every knife is serialized. It's produced in limited batches, right? So once he's done making a certain model, then he moves on to another model. So that's that. You get the D10 adjustment tool and a little bit more information about just the knife care, so on and so forth. So there you go. Let's put that back in there. Now, what a really nice case. Very sturdy. Kind of reminds me of the Grinsmill knives. But anyways, there you go. Let's put this case to the side because really the star of the show, man. I've been a big fan of Craig Brown's work ever since I handled my first Brown knife, which was the LHCX. That knife was phenomenal. Holy smokes, man. Oh my god, the action on this is crazy. Anyways, and then I ended up going with the mini FSD in that brown log. That was a phenomenal knife in and of itself. And then I got the mini FSDI, which I still have in my collection. Actually, that's been my favorite brown out of the three. But now that I've got this guy in, the Cortex XL, man, this may really knock that off the top because first impressions, holy smokes, action is crazy. My goodness. I'll definitely do like a comparison video between the Cortex XL and the mini FSDI because I think the action on those two knives, on these two knives, are just the best actions I've ever felt, to be honest. But let's do a close-up. Oh my god, check out this milling pattern. Now, Craig Brown does different milling patterns. I think he has like 4 or 5 different ones. I don't know which, I forgot the name or the number of this milling pattern. It might be like number 4 or number 2. But man, this really makes a knife pop. It really makes the handle look like a 3D just creation. And check out how he really just really brought that design onto the pocket clip, so it really just seamlessly kind of integrates visually. I mean, if you look at it dead on, the pocket clip almost disappears. Man, check that out. I love how the light just catches off the different little bevels, and my goodness, oh my god, I just cannot get over this action. And I love how Craig Brown just does his grind lines. It is just spectacular. Now this is, I believe he still does this by hand. This is like a hand like ground, hollow ground. And honestly, just right off the bat, this is like the thinnest behind the edge I felt on any brown knife. So right off the bat, I know this thing's gonna be a monster of a slicer. But you get this really interesting kind of this top flipper mohawk looking situation, and it works really well. I was like wondering how that would feel because I've never handled a knife with that kind of interesting kind of deployment design, but yeah, it works very well. It's almost definitely like a light switch action. And then with the fuller, I could spidey flick it, no problem. Let me see if I could even do like a pointer. Yep. Oh my gosh, wow. This knife is just, oh my god, and this looks like it's dead centered. Oh man, I'm just flabbergasted. Jeez. I've handled a lot of phenomenal knives out there, and this thing is super impressive to me. It feels, let me see, it feels very slim in the hand. It's definitely slimmer than the mini FSDI for sure, and I'll definitely point that out when I do like a comparison video. But this is like actually a fairly slim profile. I don't have any other knives to compare it to at the moment, but man, it just feels very locked in. This feels very comfortable. Now with this 4-finger troll, definitely I could choke up like this. My kind of typical go-to grip is like the pinch grip, so that's why I love the Warncliffe style blade, because I could really take advantage of that canted or that angled down tip, and boom, my goodness. Now it's interesting. I'm definitely gonna carry and use this knife, but right off the bat, I don't know if I'll feel super comfortable choking up on this, because like I said, the this is a really thin kind of a stock behind the edge. Excuse me. So if I really kind of bear down on it, I almost feel like it could start to like cut into my pointer finger. But no problem. I feel like, just this feels super comfortable. I have plenty of real estate. My hands don't feel cramped whatsoever. I don't feel any hot spots. But again, this is my kind of go-to pinch grip situation. But my goodness, first impressions are very, very strong. Man, I love how it's like this kind of a two-tone finish, right? You got this kind of machine ground finish. It's almost, he just kind of left that machine kind of finish, and then it looks like he kind of, I don't know what kind of finish he did it in the fullers, but it's definitely like darker. It's definitely more knockdown. Feels very good. Wow. Oh man, this action is definitely not like crazy guillotine shutty, but it's pretty close. Look at that. Action is really dialed in. Yeah, really dialed in. It's very kind of has a sticky detent. Boom, it just pops. Very poppy kind of a detent. Oh man, what a knife. Oh man, I'm so impressed. And yeah, right off the bat, it looks like it's very easy to take apart. You just got this body screw, and that pivot screw is definitely a captured pivot screw design. So A+ for that. I've taken apart all my Brown knives, and they've been very easy to take apart and clean and put back together. The interesting thing about these knives though is that usually he does like a bigger kind of a torque screw on the body screw, and then a smaller size on the pivot screw. I mean, it's still, I think this is still like, I think this is a T10, and I think that might be like a T8. If I'm not, he might have switched it up for this model. I don't know. I have to take it apart, but wow. This knife is crazy. This knife is just absolutely insane. Look at that. Look at that. Lockup is sheesh. It's like, man, like 15%. No, maybe 20, 25%. But man, it's a, look at that. Look at that lock bar kind of tab. Very interesting how Craig Brown did that. It feels very easy to manipulate. Like, it just feels very natural for my thumb to land right there and then just close the knife. Yeah, wow, what a knife. I am so impressed. But there you go. First impression is very, very strong. Huge fan of Brown knives. And this Cortex XL does not disappoint in the least. Man, I can see why folks love this knife. All right, I'll definitely do like a more long-term review after I've carried and used it. But there you go. First impressions is A+++, man. This knife is phenomenal. Take care, y'all.